Pokemon investors, wake up. Is now the time to buy Prismatic Evolutions? I don't know. Ultimately, that's going to be for you to decide. That's your own personal choice, but let's look at the data and see if that can help us better answer this question. Alright, y'all. Aside from the intro, welcome back to Pokematrix 54. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the set that everyone loves, or maybe hates, Prismatic Evolutions. Let me switch y'all around so we can start chatting about it. Okay, we've got the big board here. What we have is high to low, as you can see, filtered. For all the whales out there, then obviously the biggest, best, most expensive thing that is possible to purchase would be the Prismatic ETB Pokemon Center exclusive sealed case. Individually, the boxes I believe are going for around $400, and yeah, right around there as you can see here. But I don't have that kind of change. Maybe some of you do. Kind of the staple item here would be yes, Pokemon Center is the most exclusive thing you can get. To me, the blue chip items for specialty sets, of which this is, are the regular ETBs and the Prismatic Booster Bundles. Now, if you want to go all in on the ETBs, I guess you could say the premier item there would be the sealed case. 10 ETBs to a case. And if you got the 1 year chart pulled up here, wow, it is staggering. We could have bought this mid-year 2025 for around $1,100 to $1,200, and it has just been steadily, it dipped, it up, it dipped toward the end of the year like almost everything did, and wow, the current price sitting at around $1,800. The most recent sale at just under basically $2,000. Insane. That's almost doubling your money just from 6 to 8 months ago. That is pretty dang insane. I don't have any of these myself. I wish I did. I have a few ETBs that I was able to get at some of the Costco and Sam's Club drops, but not any of the cases. But for all the big fish out there looking to make a big splash, I don't know if now's the time to buy these, but I just wanted to give y'all that corny intro to say wake up, because Prismatic is doing some damage in just about every category, as we're going to continue to look here. Next slide we've got is just the regular ETB, and then what we have is the 1 year chart. Now, you could have bought these in the summertime last year for around $100 on the open market. Now, yes, I don't like paying that much either. I'm going to try to go to the Best Buys and the Sams and the drops, try to follow some of the drops whatever way. There's Poke Notify. You have to pay for that. I'm not a part of that one, but some of the free groups, the Discords, can ping you when product drops. Maybe you can get an ETB at Target or Walmart if you catch it on a restock day. That's near impossible because they're gone just seemingly everywhere in the first 30 minutes of them being put on the shelves. But if you're just looking at open market prices, you could have got this around $100 in the summer, all day long. Probably a little less on your local Facebook marketplaces, your OfferUps, your Craigslist, any of the local sites that people use to buy, sell, and trade and barter. You probably could have got this a little cheaper locally. Maybe some of the card shows too. But wow, it's going crazy. I just wanted to make this video to point some of the crazy things Prismatic is doing. Guys, it's almost a $200 ETB. Keep in mind, I've got to remind you, mid-January of 2025 is when Prismatic officially released. You could argue that's kind of what lit the flame and just made the whole hobby explode. It really was building up a little bit before that with Surging Sparks, and then the next set being Prismatic, I believe. But looking at the more data, there was a couple sales at just under 200. The median's 200, but we've had a few sales for 190, so it is ever creeping up into that near $200 range, which is just crazy. I mean, I remember just a couple months ago at a card show, I traded someone a one of the Sam's Club bundles with a Prismatic ETB and a Pokeball for basically even trade for a Shining Fates ETB. So they were both around $110 market at the time. It was an even trade because I wanted another Prismatic ETB. I already had extra one or two of the Shining. He didn't have one, so we made it work. And but yeah, that was just a couple months ago. Now looking at some of these ancillary items, the Costco's and the Sam's, I believe this one was a Costco exclusive, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because if you can find these at card shows or maybe marketplaces, I'm seeing them locally. You probably are too if you're looking for a little less than market. So you can probably find them for under $200. And to me, this is a better deal. It absolutely is a better deal versus buying the individuals. Because as we're about to see, the market price on just the ETB, well, as we just saw, that's around 180. As we're about to see, the market price on the bundle is about 70. So you add those two together, you're getting $250. If you can find these for low twos, it's a cheaper bundle than just to buy the two individually. So if you're looking for a strategy right now to at least maybe all you can do is pay market because you just can't find any locally, I would highly suggest going to card shows, checking your local marketplace groups, whatever websites those are, and it's a pretty safe bet here because it's got the extra seal of the 2-pack, so you know it came from Costco. But I believe these retailed, I think I was able to get one or two of these. I'm trying to remember around 6 months ago, whenever they dropped these at first. And they, of course, went and sold out the morning of, like, if the store opened by 9 a.m., whatever the Costco time was, they were sold out by noon. In most stores, probably by 10 a.m. So it's just crazy the fact that you can get demigod packs and god packs out of these. The god pack's going to be full of Umbreon Evolutions with headliner, of course, that $1,000 Umbreon card. So it's just insane. People go crazy over it from watching streams and ripping ships and hearing those people talk. It's still one of the most open sets and most purchased sets. So if knowing that data, this is going to be a good long-term hold. Absolutely. You can argue, take a look at Scarlet and Violet as a whole. Best booster box set, I don't think anyone's arguing, is probably Distant Rivals, just for the price point and the sheer amount of high dollar chase cards. But Prismatic, yes, it's a specialty set. There's no booster boxes. It's kind of arguing now, really, who's 1 and 2. Is it Prismatic or is it 151? I know after the release last January, remember everyone, they put out a statement, Pokemon Company International did, saying that we are going to try to print this into demand, and more products to come. I think they've tried. I think they really have put their best effort, but they just continue to fall short because demand is too high and it's just simply not enough. They're throwing everything they possibly can on the printers for this set, and it's just not enough. The Costco's, the multiple waves of Sam's and Costco drops, it's just not enough. But if you're looking for a deal, if you can get this around 200, I mean, like I said, like we just looked at, the ETB itself is going for 180 to 190 now. So it's a good buy if you can get this bundle. Another bundle I liked, I've picked up a few of these. I was able to get a couple on the original drop day a couple months ago at Sam's Club. This is just the ETB and a Pokeball. What I did was just open the ball, and I didn't keep it sealed. I've just got the ETB by itself in a little protective case. And I think these Pokeballs, they're different variations, but I believe they had 2 temporal and a paradox, or maybe it was reversed, 2 paradox and 1 temporal. Either way, I'm pretty sure it was those mix of packs. And honestly, I vend sometimes, so I just put those as loose packs to sell in my little container thing, and kept the ETB sealed. Definitely not selling any prismatic. That's me personally. I believe in it long term. I've got a few ETBs, like I mentioned. I'm just a poor boy, like most of us probably are. So I can't afford that much. It's not like I'm big balling over here buying these high dollar things. But if you have the money, I would absolutely go for it. If you have the money, they're probably not going to drop more of these PC ETBs. They might. You never know. But if you believe in it long term, go ahead and pick one up. If you don't have one and you just think that's going to be one of the premier items, I'm sure you can find one between $350 and $400 right now at your card show, at some of your marketplaces. It's the most exclusive item you can get. Keep that in mind. All stores have the regular ETBs. Nobody has the PC ETBs except Pokemon Center. I think they've done 3 or 4 drops in total from Pokemon Center. Some of these were just the ETBs. In the last couple, it seems like they've bundled them with honestly kind of junk that nobody wants. So they bundled it with like a plushie, which is okay, or some little figurine of Eevee, or just something that typically doesn't sell very well. So either way, that's still a good buy compared to the market price, right? It's the last year it was hovering between $300 and $400, but back to the Pokeball ECB combo. This is something I think you can still easily find. Like I said, market price $145. Why isn't everyone just buying these instead of the ETB? We just established a few minutes ago that the ETB is going for $180 to $190 market. This has that same ETB in it, plus extra packs, and it's way less. It doesn't really make any sense. Now, are you going to find any sold for that price on here? Probably not, but you might snipe some on eBay. As you can see, there's not many listings. So they are matching the ETB price plus a little bit extra value for that Pokeball. But if you're at a card show and you're pulling this up and they go off market price, technically it does still say 145. If you can get this locally at a card show, at your local websites, your local marketplaces, and you trust the seller, I mean, this is a great buy, I think, at around $120 to $150. I still see kind of that price range, hit and miss. This is a little bit older because it dropped on Sam's Club a few months ago. The time to buy this would have been if you didn't catch the Sam's drop, like right after that. And to me, that is the ultimate strategy. Because what are they releasing right now? The most recent thing, I haven't seen anything from Costco, but from Sam's Club, it's been this item right here. I actually do like the surprise box. I've got a couple of them. They've never made this item before, so how well is it going to do long term? We really don't know, but it is an item exclusive to Prismatic. They've never made a surprise box for any other set. Not before with Prismatic, and they haven't since. So I think this is a little bit of a wild card, but as you can see, going back to the main chart, the bundles themselves are right here, around $70. The surprise boxes themselves around $45. So you're looking at about $115 total value if you're buying the two individually. But you can go on here and find one for around $90. So that's like 25 to $30 below buying them individually. This is a great pickup if you don't have anything and you're looking to get into the prismatic position. Why not buy this? The bundle is, to me, a premier item, specialty set, right? So to me, the two premier items that everyone has access to get, ETBs and booster bundles. Surprise boxes, like I said, this is kind of a wild card because I've never made this item before. I think it could be a good pickup, though, long term. If you're looking to get into the game, don't buy the individual ETBs. Don't buy the individual bundles. Look for these Sam's and Costco bundles. Even on the open market like TCG or eBay, they're still selling for less, really, than you could buy the two individual items for. This is my strategy that I'm looking to do right now as I accumulate more, as I'm trying to buy, maybe a bundle this month, maybe an ETB next month. If I can find this bundle cheaper than the individual item, then that's what I'm going to buy, and that's what I'd recommend for y'all as well. Um, that's really all I've got. I just wanted to show you the crazy price jumps at some of these. And one more item I almost forgot to mention, the super premium collection. Rumors are going around, they have been for a while now, that this item is going to be dropped soon at Sam's and at Costco, and I think at Best Buy as a 2-pack bundle. The Sam's and the Costco, I don't know if there's individual boxes or 2-packs. The only price point I heard, I would assume Best Buy would be MSRP, which is $90 in case anyone doesn't know on this item. I believe it's $90. 90 or 100, but I'm pretty sure it's $89.99. But I heard the Sam's Club drop for this item was going to be a $70 price point. Can you imagine what the lines are going to be the morning of if they ever drop that? I hope they do, and I hope I find out in time because I would love to get one. I did buy one, full transparency, when it first released. I waited in line at Best Buy, and I should have kept it, but I was kind of hoping to just make a few bucks and move into another item, and that's what I did. I ended up selling it for, I believe, $200 locally, just a cash deal, and someone that actually buys from me pretty regularly. So not a bad deal, and for them or for me really, because as you see, it's doing crazy things now. Just maybe 6 to 8 months later, and about a year later, almost a year later, but it's gone up even from the sale price I sold it at, from $200 to over $300. I mean, that's 50% in a year after buying it at market price. If you would have bought it at $90, then you've already more than 3x'd your money. So you've gone up in about a year's time at around the $100 price point to $300. You've doubled, 2x'd your money. You took $100 and you turned it into $300 if you bought at the beginning for MSRP. Where else, that's why I get so excited about this hobby, is where else can you invest and see those kind of returns? Nowhere else. Now, I know that was a specific item and a specific time frame. Not all of them achieve that, not every item, but they all do go up eventually over time. The key is, are you patient enough to hold it long term? That's the key. I should have probably kept the one that I purchased, but at the time it was a good deal for me. I made a few bucks, took that and parlayed that probably into my next deal, whatever the case was. I don't remember. But wow, I mean, just beginning of last year, even market price was $230. So I'm 3 months, sorry. So looking at, it was crazy before release. It got released. Many were on the market. I wouldn't say many either. Like, they've restocked it at seemingly, you've seen it a few times in stores, but it was just always one of those elusive items. To me, at least, it was hard to find. But you could have got it under $200 last summer, and you can see what it's done since. It did skyrocket to well over $300, dipped back down toward the end of the year, and has since creeped right back up to well over $300 now again for the second time in the past 6-month span-ish. So on this item, it's another premier item. It's not a ultra premium. They're calling this the super premium. Ultra premiums typically retail for $120. This one is, like I said, I think it's $90, maybe $100. If y'all are watching still, correct me in the comments. Feel free to. But I want to say MSRP is $90 on this. So it's not an ultra, but it is a super premium. The playmat is included, which is awesome. The sleeves are awesome. This is the playmat. You get the little deck box. You get the Eevee. I think they call this kind of the fruit basket promo. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm getting this one mixed up. But it's a nice SIR style promo card. I can't remember if it's got texture on it, but it is still an awesome promo. And I believe you get like 15 packs. Yep, 15 packs. So it's a premier box containing premier packs. Obviously, the set, Prismatic, They're all prismatic. It's not a mix of packs in here. But if I'm viewing this as a premier blue chip item for the set, which I am, I'm saying wait. Don't buy. My opinion, don't buy this yet. With those rumors, now I get it. They might be rumors. They might not be true. And if that's the case, then maybe you missed out if you don't buy for the next year. But I at least believe with as much as they're printing prismatic, they haven't really done much for the SBCs. I've heard rumors that they will. I tend to err on the side of I do believe that at least one of those stores probably will get them. I hope it's all Best Buy, Sam's, and Costco. So we've got multiple opportunities to buy them. But if not, hopefully at least one or two of the three will get restocks of this item. Heck, maybe they drop it again on Pokemon Center's official website. I hope they do something. I believe they will do something for this. It's too popular of a set. And they've showed that they are willing to seemingly print more prismatic lately. And it almost seems like they're kind of putting prismatic at the forefront and putting the other sets. You can argue that's maybe not the best strategy. They're putting the other sets seemingly on the back burner. Important sets. Black Bolt, White Flare, Destined Rivals, probably most of all. To some extent, Journey Together, and others. I mean, you're kind of creeping up now where we can start talking about where's more Mega and where's more Phantasmal. And I don't know what's going to happen. To me, the printers with Ascended Heroes now released, that's probably going to take the bulk of their printing capacity because they're staggering the release of that set with multiple waves of multiple different items, ETBs, bundles, the tech stickers, the 2-packs, the 3-packs, all those different items, the little collection boxes with Meganium and Feraligatr. There's going to be so much new Ascended Heroes coming out soon. Are they really going to be able to keep up printing all the other sets plus still prioritize prismatic? That's my argument here. That's why I say, excuse me, now may be the time to start picking up some positions in prismatic. What we just stated earlier is we're already past the 1-year mark. Historical data tells us that in the first year of a set's release, that's when you tend to see more reprints, more restocks. Year in a print window is typically 2 years for a set, right? Keep that in mind. I know there's exceptions, like right now we're in the midst of it with hearing restocks of 151 mini tins. That set's over 2 years old. But for the most part, most sets go out of print and out of rotation after 2 years. The printers are officially turned off most of the time after the 2-year mark. And like I said, you can look this up if you want, but year 1 out of year 2 in comparison, typically year 1 of a set sees more product and more restocks, and year 2 sees less. We're already in year 2. It's already been a year and a little over a month, almost 2 months since Prismatic's been released. So keep these facts in mind, y'all, as you're thinking about your purchases. Try to be a savvy investor. Try to find the best deal. I'm speaking to the small crowd, not the big fish here, because I'm not a big fish myself, but I'm trying to find a deal. Look, it may be just saving $10 on a bundle for me, but that's important. That means a lot, right? Because when you're working on a limited budget, that's just, you got to work with what you have. And there's no shame in that. There's no shame in saying, my whole position for Prismatic is 2 ETBs. And you see some of these other big content creators that have got stacks of them in their background, and they've got a dozen or 2 dozen sealed ETB cases, which each have 10 individually. So they're sitting on hundreds. If you count up all the cases, they're sitting on hundreds of ETBs, whereas I may only have 2, or you may only have 1, or 0, or 3, or 6, or 8, or whatever. Everyone starts somewhere. And the whole key of this, the key of me rambling is really just saying this: start somewhere. If you do some research, do some facts, I'm trying to present those in each one of my videos, you'll see that Pokemon outperforms consistently the S&P 500, most general stocks by and large. At least it has since I've been involved, which is about 6 years now, and it has really before that too. Um, Tons of facts we can share, more facts from more videos, more to come as always, but keep those things in mind for the small time investors. I'm speaking to you. Try to save, try to find your local card shops that have deals that have, especially I'm finding the best deals on things like marketplaces, on offer ups, on your local buy, sell, trade, barter websites where you can get a bundle deal like this or this bundle for less than the actual contents of the two individual items inside if you're to buy those individually. Um, so that's the strategy I'm using. I'm trying to find deals any way, shape, or form I can. I know it can get exhausting and tiresome. Some people may not have the time to do that with their work schedule, but just in your free time, if it matters to you, you're going to make it a priority, right? If it matters to you, then that's just going to be the case. If it doesn't matter that much, then you won't make it a priority, and that's okay. But just, you know that you'll be missing out on potential deals if you're not spending the time and doing the research. That's mainly all I have. If y'all have anything that you feel like I left off or should have mentioned, that's kind of covered almost all the blue chip items. One more card I wouldn't recommend. I never typically recommend an individual cards. I know I've done a few videos on them, and I do invest very, very small, tiny amount in individual cards because I know that over time, card card amounts increase because over time packs are opened more often. And over time, as the printers shut down on items, sealed product decreases because the more that's open, the more that's taken off the market for sealed. So that's why I mostly like to purchase sealed items, less so singles. But we might as well at least mention it. The big bad boy on the block as far as this set goes, the Umbreon, Sumbreon, some people call it. This, I remember seeing locally, it almost got down to like $600 locally in some cases. This chart doesn't really show it. Now this was kind of probably right at release. Keep in mind this is a lot more, it's seemingly with the pop reports, a tougher card to grade than the Umbreon VMAX from Evolving, the Moonbreon as they call it. So, and wow, it's really held pat. I thought it might drop below $600. It seems like it really never did, even in some of the low points, and it's still around $1,000 card. Keep that in mind. With a card that expensive and many more evolutions still up there as well, this is going to be a chase for so many people for so many years to come. It's absolutely why Prismatic is going to be one of the best sets I think of all time. Could it eclipse and see better gains long term than Evolving Skies? Because everyone wants to say, what's the next Evolving Skies? I truly think this is it. It matches toe to toe with the evolutions. Yeah, it's a specialty set, so you can't really compare booster boxes because there's not any in this set. But as a sealed investment, I think this long term will be just as good, and you heard it here first, maybe even better than Evolving Skies. I truly believe that. The fact that you can get God packs, yeah, I know there's no illustration rare, so the pull experience seems not as great. You're either basically pulling an EX or a full art or an SIR. The reversed hollow Pokeball and Master Balls are okay. They're not as cool of a wow factor than if you were to open up some illustration rares, about one in every dozen, like a lot of the sets have. But it still has the big hitters and so many of them. That's why it's going to be a long-term awesome hold. If you can just buy some, buy it now, buy it later. The thumbnail stated is now the time to buy. Like I said, ultimately that's your choice. Look at the data, look at some of the facts that I presented. You make your best decision based on your budget. I'm never going to tell you to buy something or go into credit card debt. and guarantee that a price on an individual thing is going to go up. Track record shows that usually they do, but you don't want to just be frivolous with your money and your finances. Don't spend more than you are prepared to lose. Just kind of keep that in the back of your head. But absolutely insane, this headliner. I would not invest personally in this card, but the population report of PSA 10s is pretty low. If you want to take a gamble, a PSA 10 version of this card may not be a bad gamble because I don't know. It's just if you're willing to keep it long term, especially well after this goes out of print, I think a PSA 10 of this will age pretty well. But what are they going for now? Like $4,000? I don't have that kind of money to drop on a single card. I don't think most of us do. But if you do and you love this card, I don't think it will be a bad pickup. Just be prepared that you're probably going to have to hold it quite a bit longer to see some gains. That's why, to me, I would rather just buy cheaper items that I know are going to go up more exponentially than, say, an individual $4,000 Sumbreon PSA 10 would. That's your cheap items. Because if you can find these for, say, I don't know, $100, it's not going to probably take that long for them to go up to $200. Then you've doubled your money. So keep that in mind. Look for deals. Pokemon has stated they're going to continue to print this set. I don't know how much in year 2. I hope it continues to be more. But at the same time, I would rather see some Destined Rivals booster box reprints or some ETBs. Yeah, supposedly we saw kind of a flash in the wind. I guess you could say we saw some booster bundle reprints, but most of them were secondary prices to begin with, $45 to $55 right off the bat. So unless you got lucky and found some at a Best Buy for MSRP, you just about can't find them. Anything. Sleeve boosters every once in a while, but it's just insane how it is. This year is about to start the 30th anniversary, so I don't see signs of anything letting up. The next set's Perfect Order. Looks kind of weak, right? So we're thinking, oh great, maybe things might settle down. Probably not, because if Perfect Order is a bust like it kind of looks like it is, buy a couple of those, but just move back into Ascended Heroes, because that's what everyone's going to do anyway. That's going to be what everyone does. It's just simply, if we don't like Perfect Order, we're going to go back to the most recent set that is awesome, Ascended Heroes. And I've talked a little bit about Ascended. I think that's going to be one of the premier items of this mega block. But aside from that, that's kind of all I got. Let me know in the comments if you think I missed anything, if you think I could have done something different for improvement. I appreciate the feedback if you're willing to give it. And I guess we'll end it there. See you on the next one. Peace.